Annyeonghaseyo everybody, it's your boy WhiteBoyKpop back again, and this time I'm doing something special. It's called reading. So I never read in my whole life. I hate reading. Yeah, I know that just turned about all of you off my channel. I mean, I don't know why. Just reading books just always annoyed me, but not this book. This book is actually fascinating. It's called The Korean Mind, and it's by Boye Lafayette Demente, who is acknowledged as an authority on Asia and the author of more than 30 books, including all sorts of Asian titles. I wanted to share, I was going to do this, I don't know, once a day or every couple days, just all the really mind-blowingly fascinating things that I found in this book, because this book is all about like the history of Korea and how that history built up to the way people, think. And this can be done with every country and stuff, but coming from a Western perspective where everyone has been out of the Middle Ages, like our culture has been out of the Middle Ages for like 400 years, 500 years. So I actually just did some research. I know I said 400, 500, but I just did a quick Google search on when England was in the Middle Ages. And they were in the Middle Ages from the 5th century, which is a lot more than 400, 500. That's like 1500 years ago up to 1485, which is still like, that's like 5,500 years ago, almost 600. So yeah, that's a long time ago for us. That whole section where everybody's fighting with knives and stuff. And in Korea, they got out of that, according to this book, like 1960s, 1970s. So it's only been like 40 years that Korea has even come close to what I consider like contemporary society. And so that creates like a really large dichotomy. And like if you go back and watch some of my old drama reviews, I'm gonna just hold this up here. So if you guys want to know what it's called, you can go buy it because this thing is awesome. Especially Goo Family book. I sound really bigoted and racist and just like a horrible person watching that because I didn't understand a lot of things about Korean culture. And now that I've read like a good chunk of this book and am like rereading the beginning, if I went back and watched that now with the things I know about Korean culture, it would be, or at least think I know about Korean culture, it'd be really mind-blowing, the difference. And so once I finish this book, I plan on redoing the Goo Family book series because I really like that. Doing the drama review and starting there for you guys. Yeah, so I mean, getting back to the point before I got on a giant tangent, a lot of the things that this book says about Korean culture and a lot of the like comparisons to what I know as history for, I want to say my people, but that's still pretty racist, just white people in general. Like a lot of us are what you would consider first world countries, which Korea is now like 1.5 world country because they still have a lot of like third world seeming areas. And yes, this is a fact. I'm not making this up. And then they also have a lot of really huge cities. So they're really progressive. And they're like really progressive in their cities. From all the cool technology they have, we don't. And if you want to, just go watch the EYK on technology that I think they put that out like yesterday, 2 days ago. But anyway, so that's something I was going to start doing. I hope you guys like it. This is just the intro video. This is going to be one big playlist. I'll just link like the playlist. Probably be up there this entire time. And I was just going to share facts that I thought were really phenomenally interesting about Korea out of this book. And for like the first one, yes, here it is. This was mind-blowing to me. So in Korea, just like basically every society of old world, sons were preferenced quite a lot more than daughters because they were, well, I mean, it's because we were more physically capable of doing labor, pretty much. But they also had a lot of other Confucius reasons. Anyway, getting to the quote. So, this is on page 6. So this is at the front of the book. Hey. Social prayers and a number of ceremonial rituals were performed by mothers-in-law, brides, and their husbands in an effort to ensure the conception of sons. One of these practices was to place a mixture of blue salts, musk powder, and ground-up mugwort in the sonless wife's navel and set it afire. Records show that this cauterization process was sometimes carried out as many as 200 times by husbands anxious to have sons, and that the custom was still widely practiced until the mid 1900s. So not the year 1800s, but like 1901 on to like 1950s, because it says widely practiced until the mid 1900s. So until 1950, Korean fathers burn their wives alive because that gave them sons. So that's kind of the stuff in this book that I find rather fascinating. And the reason I find it fascinating, 1950s. If I go there, there are going to be a lot of women who are over 60 that are just going to be destroyed and burned all over their stomach. Because apparently this was widely practiced. Widely. That is the term used. So, not everybody, but nuts that was a thing so recent. Now, I'm sure if I looked into my culture, which I don't care about my culture, obviously I care about Korean culture, I'm sure I would find many similar things, but to me, that happened hundreds of years ago in the culture that I'm most familiar with. That happened hundreds and hundreds of years ago compared to not even a century ago. So when you watch like dramas and things, this ought to, like I said, open your mind to the people who grew up before 1960s, 1970s, the people from like that era in the middle up to like 1990s, and then everybody born at the time that like we were born, and predominantly the people watching this were born 1990s on. So people 1990s on are pretty much the same. People in the middle are lost. And this is very well explained in dramas. They're completely lost. And then people from before that are from such a different time area and culture that it's mind-blowing to see all the differences. A great one to watch this on would be You're the Best Lee Soon-shin, and compare all the differences between people who are lost. People who are lost would be like IU's parents in that. They're just like all over the place with their beliefs. Old grandmas from before, and then like IU's grandmother in that, Lee Soon-shin's grandma, is very, very ancient traditional. IU is very new, and then there are those people who didn't get lost and were willing to embrace the culture, like her acting coach and the main actress of the series. So you want to see like this book again, Korean Mind by some French guy. I'm assuming that's French. I don't know. Go watch that, and then after you've read this book, and you will be completely mind blown in the things you start to pick up about Korean culture. But yeah, this book, read it along with me, because I don't have anybody else that cares about Korean culture in my entire life, which is kind of why I do this YouTube thing. And then you'll be awesome, and say hi to me, if you ever see me in real life, like at KCON 2014, spoilers and plugs, which I'm doing in all my videos. Anyway. That's it for me. I know this video is long, but it's really cool, and I'll share more awesome things with you next time. So yeah, as always, until next time, that was redundant as heck.